investment. So it's a language about a return on investment. And I want to argue that this links very quickly into a language of productivism, which is a term that Giddens used in '94 to talk about how the world kind of puts the emphasis now on productivity, on formal work, and neglects other things. And obviously that's a very gendered thing. It says men's work, men's formal work is valued, women's work in the household, other kinds of work are not valued. So there's big problems with how that works. And it says some things are valuable, community development's not valuable unless there's an economic cost to it and benefit to it. So it's a system that focuses in on these two main arguments. If you get training, you'll become more productive, and that will benefit the economy because you'll get economic growth. And the second, that skills lead to employability. One of the big discourses of the last decade in further education internationally has been that of employability, and we've seen it come into higher education recently, as Sarah's been working on. You know, the qualification itself isn't enough. And it's not the workplace's or the economy's fault, the labour market's fault. It's your fault for not having the right skills and attitudes to be out there and employed. So there's a lot of things going on there that we don't need to get into in this particular seminar, because a lot of you know that. So an argument that skills lead to employability, and that will lead to jobs. So we should invest in skills, but seeing this in a very narrow, it's about employability, it's about the job to be got next week when you finish the course. It's about defining the world in terms of what's economically productive rather than what might be socially productive or what might be societally productive, environmentally productive. So it's a narrow vision of what counts and what doesn't count. And I've got quite a long quote from Anderson in the paper which talks about the things that are included and excluded as a result of that. The neoliberal account, then the kind of obverse of that investment decision is, what if that investment decision doesn't make sense? And where the literature's gone in Africa in particular is the investment doesn't pay off. If you want a good job's white collar, a good job needs good schooling. So don't waste your time in vocational education and training, which is low status. Spend your time in good academic education, because that's where the return comes. So a literature with George Sakharopoulos, who was at the World Bank for many years in charge of education, being the key person,